How is everybody today? Good? All right. So the sole purpose of today, as we said in our email, is the continuity of what we all learned. You know, as I've shared with you over the last 10 weeks, being an agent, I really very much empathize with what you all go through every day, but most importantly, what learning is like for you. You know, if you want to know what to do, you can go on YouTube and get it for free. You know, you spent the last 10 weeks committed to the how. And what I want to commit to you is making sure that it actually gets done, right? What is the continuity to any program? So we've told you what to do. We've told you how to do it. But this is the missing piece in real estate. If you don't have a place to ask questions, if you don't have a community of people to collaborate with, you get stuck. Raise your hand if you can agree with this sentiment. Everything seems like a good idea while you're sitting in the seminar and somebody's telling it to you. But then we all leave, and then our phone rings, we have families, our clients call, and then we go back to trying to do the work, and then we get stuck. So I want you to, before I start answering some of the questions you guys sent in, drop me a message in here. Where is everyone getting stuck? Like, what holds you back from implementation? So I asked this question for a very specific reason. Do you want to know what it is? I want all of you to realize you are not alone in your challenges. It's everybody. You know, I often use one of my friends and dear clients, Matt Breitenbach. Matt has the Breitenbach Advisory out in the Hamptons. His team does about $300 million. They sell all these crazy properties. And then you meet Matt and he will tell you how chaotic this all is, how things are broken. People are like, I didn't expect that. And every time I love bringing Matt places and having him talk to people, because like when we used to do agent talk, people like, that guy is so real and you'd never think he goes through all those challenges. And I never forgot that moment. So it's very important that I ask people to share in here because all of us go through the same thing. So write this one word down and put this somewhere where you can see it on a day-to-day basis. Just write down the word choice. I don't have enough time. That's a choice. I don't know where to start. That's a choice. All of these things that happen to us are choices. And in the end of the day, you get given life one day at a time. It is completely precious. And if you don't like what happens, you wake up tomorrow, and from the moment you wake up, don't you have a choice if you look at your phone or you go decide to meditate? Do you have a choice of whether you decide to go on Instagram or go exercise? Do you have a choice whether you go to respond to your emails, which is keeping busy, versus prospecting? Everything we do is a choice. Now, our goal together is figure out how we can make your choices more simple and clear to you, where you could build discipline in what you do, the consistency to do it regardless of how you feel, and then the patience to know when you do these activities over time that everything works out. Does that make sense, everybody? All right, so I'm going to answer some of these questions that we have. And from there, I have a couple other things to share with you. So give me 1 second just to pull this up. When people refer to 1% better than what? What is the baseline? Is it numeric? Is it esoteric? Thank you. Okay. So 1% better in that concept means just do a little more than you did yesterday. right? So if you ran on a treadmill for 10 minutes, try to run for 10 minutes and 30 seconds, or try to run for 11 minutes. Just try to do a little bit more. Hold on. Can you all hear me? Is that better? Someone said the sound was going. Okay. Try just to do a little bit more, right? So if you're going to the gym 3 times a week this week, next week, try to go 4 times. It's the simple concept that every single day I can do a little more than I did tomorrow. And again, that's a choice. What is the best way to start a real estate team? Hire an assistant. Period. End of story. Right? So there are 4 phases in real estate. Most people never really figure out the first one, but they go past it, right? Phase number 1 is when you get in the business, right? It's like, how do I make an appointment? How do I show property? How do I write an offer? What do I say to people? It's like very simple. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, you know how to sell a house, you know how to help somebody buy a house. Now what's the second phase? Now I need to find more clients. That's where you start building all your lead generation systems. And in the second phase of real estate, then you get really busy. And this is a point where when everything's going well, you're like, I'm working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. And it's just you, right? Now, the third part, the third phase in real estate, and this is when you should start a team, is leverage. How can I add leverage onto my business? Now, when you start thinking about leverage, the way you want to do it in starting a team is this. Number 1, what is my unique ability? The thing that I and only I can do that drives the most top line revenue. And that generally is meeting with clients, negotiating deals, doing your prospecting. Is responding to emails and setting up buyer showings a unique ability? No. Is putting a listing into the MLS a certain way a unique ability? Nope. Right? So in essence, you need to understand what is your unique ability, and then what can you leverage? Leverage comes in 2 different sources. So when you think about that leverage bucket, it's number 1, what is my unique ability? Number 2, is this something I can outsource, right? So can I hire a company to do my social media? If you're spending 10 hours a week doing it, it's probably time to hire somebody, right? Because that is not your unique ability, and that's not the highest and best use of your time. And then bucket number 3 is this something that I want to hire an employee for? An employee is like having a child. You have to manage it. You have to take care of it. You have to pay attention to it every day. You have to do performance management. You have to do development with it. Do not hire anybody if you're not willing to invest the time into working with them. So the first person that you hire is an assistant, because that's leverage, right? So if you think about it, you only have a certain amount of time in the day. So every time you do something, water comes out of the bottle. And you just keep going all the way down to 0. So I have Deborah on here and Brooke is on here. They're leverage. Every time they do something that I normally would have had to do, now my water comes back on, right? There's more water in the bottle. So now I can be more productive. I can help do the things that are big picture in my business, just like you can do in yours. And then the 4th phase, because you're going to ask me about this, is scalable systems. How do I scale myself through other people? And this is when you start adding other agents on the team, right? And on the same side of it is what I'm doing profitable? Yeah. Do I know how to house and sell money? Yes. Is it repeatable? Do you have systems on how to repeat what you do over and over again? Then does it become predictable? If I repeat these systems over and over again, is the outcome predictable? And then is it scalable? Can I scale it to other people? So that's like team building in a nutshell. We moved all of our past clients to the Compass CRM and found out a lot of the emails we try to send them to go to spam. If they have a Gmail, it seems to work, but nothing else. What can you do about this? I have no idea what you can do about this. Unfortunately, my IT skills are not that high. That's based on the Compass IP address and their IP address, and I'm not really sure. I'm struggling with creating a good system to handle my transactional follow-up, i.e. calendar versus checklist for all the things you do when taking a listing all the way through closing. What are most top agents using? A spreadsheet, a calendar, the CRM? Thanks, I've really enjoyed the program. Well, thank you for who sent that question. So here's what you want to do. They have checklists, right? A checklist is a predictable client experience. Now you see this big thing here?
right? These sheets, these things, as you can see, look, we have, God knows how many of these things I have. They can actually stick to your wall, right? Now, why am I showing you this? The reason I'm showing you this is how you think through making a checklist, right? There are 3 parts to a real estate transaction: before, during, and after. Now, you want to get these things and get a wall and write before and literally write out every single step that you do. I meet the person. Well, in meeting someone, what do you prepare? Do you send them an email? What do you do after you meet them? What do you do while you meet them? What happens? What's the follow-up? What's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? And then you map out the entire journey. Every email, every conversation, every follow-up, get it out of your head. And if you're going to do this, one, I would suggest doing it with a team member, a colleague, a friend. I would even fly to another market to do this with somebody if someone's really serious about doing this, right? And then from there, you're going to look at the entire journey of a customer in one place. Do you guys want to know how we made your entire 10 by 10 challenge? We made all of the sessions from scratch. So a group of us sat here over a weekend and we laid out all 10 sessions, right? Here are the outcomes. I think I have some of these sheets here. Here are the outcomes. Here's what we're going to go through. And here's the customer experience. We mapped out all 10 programs. Then we took a break for an hour. We all had lunch and we came back. Then what we were looking at is what is the journey of you all, right? What's the journey of the customer? Where are you today? Where are you looking to go? What is it in between? Some things are duplicative, some things we didn't think of. And then the top row was all the sheets. And then we started a second row where on some of them we wanted to change it around. So we took the top one, we put it down, we put a clean sheet up, and then we started filling the experience in. So by the end of doing this, we had mapped out 10 weeks of a continuous journey. So I hope the journey felt continuous too, because we put a lot of thought into the way that it went, what went into each session. And if you notice, each time we kind of touched upon the things that we did before. So we wanted certain themes to be blocks and core elements that you brought forward, and that there was a continuity and purpose that we covered the entire gambit of your business. So when you do this with a client, you want to do that and then build it into a Compass checklist and then just have it uploaded. Now, asterisk, this is going to take a lot of time to do. A lot. Again, this goes back to the word I said in the beginning. It's a choice, right? How long will I have access to the dashboard? For a month. The next month, all the stuff in there will be up. So if anyone decides to continue with us, we'll open it back up. If not, we'll leave it up for a month. So go on there and download everything you can. That is my suggestion. Now, the next questions. Buyer packets and seller packets. So the question is, people have made references to buyer packets and seller packets. What are those exactly? So to keep them simple, obviously it's market specific. People have certain packets that they put together before they meet a buyer, before they meet a seller. So in New York State, a packet would include, if they were selling a property, it'd be the exclusive right to sell, an agency disclosure form, a lead-based paint form, property disclosure, agency disclosure, lead-based form, a listing agreement, and Compass has their own set of materials in each market for this. So some of them in some markets are made, some of them the agents make, right? But really it's in a simple nutshell, it is a pre-packaged set of information that you have ready for when you meet somebody. So your packet could have the home buying process in it. Conversations for sellers wanting to cut commission. Okay, we'll go do this again. So there are 2 types of people when it comes to cutting commission. 3 types of people. Number 1, have any of you here ever gone to buy something? You knew you had to pay full price for it, but you couldn't leave without trying to get something. Yes? No? Answer it in the chat box. Some. There it goes. Most people, right? So number one for commission cutters, they're the people that are just simply asking you. I shop at Costco because it's cheaper. Costco is better on many aspects. I could say this now being an adult. Now, number one, it's the person that's trying. Now, for the person that's trying, if you start becoming combative, telling and explaining, you just lost yourself the deal. Correct? That's person number one. I'm going to give you the solution to this, but you have to know the personas first. Person number two, the person that's objectively asking a question. Have you ever noticed between the base model of a car and the super souped up model that has all the features, there's like a $30,000 or $40,000 difference sometimes? It's like you look at an Escalade or one of these cars that's advertised at $80,000. You're like, oh, I want that one. Yeah, that one's 120. And the question that you ask would be, is like, why? Well, why don't I just get the $80,000 one? What's the difference? That's the same thing your client asks you. Is like, well, John from Redfin would do it for 1% less. Why shouldn't I go with him? It's the same exact question. That's the second type of person, right? And for those second type of people, you need to understand it is everything you did before that point that might not be 100% clear for people. The third type of person, the person who does not care about anything besides getting the deal. Meaning they don't care what you offer them. It's how they can pay less, because in their mind, that's how they win. And there's no beating these people. That's why for those people, you can ask for people number 2 or 3. It's really simple, the dialogue. Hey, John at Redfin would do it for 1% less. We'd really love to work with you if you could do that. Great. I would say, John, so I hear you're trying to maximize the equity in your home. And they're going to say, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say, look, I know your time is very valuable, and regardless of what you do, I can support you 100%. If you liked what John had to say, and you liked his marketing plan and the commission that he charged, what specifically had you call me here this evening? Let them answer the question. You can use the line, if I support you 100% or not, but if not, I'd say great. So you want to maximize the equity in your home. Yes, absolutely. You understand. I totally do. And I know your time's valuable. If you are happy with what John had to offer, his marketing plan and the commission, what specifically had you call me here this evening? And that's when you can actually show people an example, right? You can say, if the house is $1 million, you ask them a question, how many things can you focus on at once? And they're going to say 1. It's simply draw a picture like this. What are you focused on? Maximizing this $1 million or saving $10,000? I'm focused on maximizing $1 million, but I would say it and I would just be quiet. No, we want to maximize the $1 million, but we only want to pay this type of commission. That's great. And I completely understand that. If you'd like to work with me, my goal is to maximize this. And has anyone taken the time to share with you, if you do over the price your home or you get it wrong the first time, what that could cost? And then do you notice that most, yes or no, hit it in the chat box. Have you ever noticed that most commission cutters are serial overpricers? 100%. You want to know why? Because they're not competing on skills. They're trying to buy listings. So this is where you can go. When a home is $1 million, now here's the next trick. If your home is $1 million and this one is $1,250,000, and this house is really worth $1,250,000, do you think your house is going to help sell that house? Because your house is never going to look at those houses because it's nicer. So when you're going into these houses, and in these markets, you want to look for the overpriced listings and say, has anyone shared with you the cost of getting it wrong? And then they're going to be like, no, I don't understand. So if the pricing is wrong and the marketing is correct, If your house is $1 million and you're buying $1 million house and somebody dropped the price $10,000, would that be enough of a difference to make you want to buy it? No. 20,000? No. 30,000? No. Maybe 50,000 they generally get to, right? And then you're going to say, so what I hear you saying is the cost of potentially getting it wrong is $50,000. It's their choice. Go back to the same word we started with, choice. Can I get a thumbs up if we're clear on handling this objection? Obviously, there's a lot more you can go into this with, but for the sake of time, I want to get through everyone's questions. What is my opinion on social media? I think it's great. You know, I think everyone uses it differently. If your grid is filled with all listing houses and everything else, you're completely missing the boat. It's called social media. It's not Zillow. It's not Redfin. It's not StreetEasy. It's not Realtor.com. I don't know how that place is still alive, but it still seems to be here. People are going on there for social things, right? I'm not going on there to view listings. You could have a cool picture and stuff and you could blend it, but I think it's something you should do. And if you're not, and if you are very busy, just outsource it to somebody and you just need a populated grid, right? Your grid is like your personal resume. People look at those 9 photos and make a decision of who you are, what you do, and if they want to engage with you. Here's an interesting one. I'm a relatively new agent to Compass. It's clear that Compass is targeted the top agents in each new city, and I love the strategy and feel honored. However, when speaking with a colleague after I joined, he mentioned that his largest pain point was that he was to compete with other Compass agents advertising the same suite of tools. Ultimately, I'm supposed to come down to connection and personality. I've personally raised my prices. Frankly, I think we should all charge 7%. I like you. This is something we didn't address. I'm sure you've thought about it. Where's your hat at? So we actually did talk about this, perceived value and actualized value. I know if I went into a room of 1,000 Compass agents and we were all given the same tools, that I believe I'd win at least 95% of the time. And you want me to tell you why? Because I can explain it with, number one, clarity. Number two, I'd know how to talk about the tools in the context of only what was important to the client. And number three, I've practiced this for 4 years, right? I've been here 4 years. 40% of the entire time this company's been here, I've been here. I know the platform, the programs, and the things here better than most humans that are alive. Think about that. 4 full years, this is all I've been doing with people at Compass. So how obsessed are you about the way you communicate this stuff? If you go to explain something like our digital ad platform, I could call on 3 of you and let's do this in a thing. Who wants to volunteer and in 60 seconds explain the digital ads platform? We use 2 people. Anybody? Michelle, you look like you're ready to go.
Okay. What do I need to do?
Tell me what, if I'm a seller, tell me about the digital ad platform at Compass.
Steve, take this one.
No, you know what? Why don't you tell me about your favorite technology thing about Compass?
My favorite technology thing about Compass. See, yeah, you should not have picked me.
All right, fine. We'll skip you. It's okay.
Go to Steve.
Steve, I think you're Steve Springer.
It's always nice when someone calls you out. So Compass Digital Ads use back-end AI technology to target likely buyers and sellers in the market for your home. And they're constantly adjusting their ad spend to get you the highest return and the highest exposure for your property and for your digital ad.
That was really good. So now the next person, who wants to go next? And I have a good bit of feedback for you. And the fact that no one wanted to raise their hand here is very concerning. So when we release a course called Pitching Compass and Delivering the Perfect Pitch, you all should sign up because I can show you all how to do this. Okay. Now there's 100+ people here. I'm game. Jonathan, unmute yourself.
Yeah. So you want to stick with my favorite, or you want to do the digital
Just
ads?
do the digital ad platform. I'm trying to show some variety here.
Sure. I think one of the things that separates me from everybody else in the marketplace has to do with our digital ad campaign. A lot of agents are going to come here and tell you that they can put your place on the internet. They can put it based on Zillow or Redfin, and that's fantastic. It's 2022. Everybody has the internet, but not everybody has the guy who used to be in charge of AI at Microsoft, or the guy who invented Amazon Alexa running the back end of their algorithm. In fact, I feel so confident about this. I can actually get you a weekly report to let you know who's looking at what and when. And not everyone's going to be able to do that for you in our marketing.
So ready? Do you see how different that was? Thank you. I'm going to mute you guys. Right? Now, Steve nailed it in the sense of he had them intrigued, right? He framed it by the sense of the people that used to work at AI and everything else. Steve actually made it really simple, and then he added more stuff that I got confused in the second half. He said that we use AI technology to target buyers and sellers for your home through our own proprietary digital ad platform. How clean and simple is that, right? What Jonathan said is the framing to that, right? Like the two of them actually, if you use his frame about how we came up with the platform so people understood it, with Steve's explanation is the money shot, right? So when you think about competing against other Compass agents, really what you're thinking about is how can I most clearly explain what I have to offer comparatively to somebody else, right? All right, let's see. One of my likely to sells is to someone who I sold a house to about 5 years ago. I can't even recall if they have any kids. I've been in touch. Not knowing what to say. Okay. We just launched this blueprint course. Some of you, I think, are enrolled in it. And, one of the things we talked about today was the psychology of targeting a cold lead. So there's 3 things that you want into this. Number 1, be conversational, which means share a story, right? I could say, hey, today, I went to my financial advisor to review the amount of equity in my portfolio. It made me realize in reading this article of how much equity homeowners have gained, approximately $6 trillion, that people that own a home might want the same information. If by chance this is appealing to you and you're interested in knowing the amount of equity in your home, please let me know. If not, no need to respond. I hope you're doing well and look forward to talking to you soon. Try it. It's just an example. I made that up. But if you don't know somebody, be conversational, add value, create intrigue. Works every single time. Does that sound salesy, pushy, or anything like that at all? Is that something we can say to everybody? Now, the second part is that everyone's going to say is, well, what happens if they write me a message back that's nasty? They didn't want to talk to me. They get mad at me and everything else. Who wants to know the answer to that question? Because that's the number one reason that we don't do anything, because we're afraid of what people are going to say. It's those 10 people in our database, 15, 20 people, you don't know them, you don't know what they're going to say, right? What you say is this: I completely understand what you're saying. I was really excited to share this information as a lot of people have been benefiting from it, and it's something positive to share. Has the news been negative lately? Inflation, interest rates, war. Anyone could understand this right now. This is like the definition of being an opportunist, like in terms of using the word positive. And then you could say, I'm going to remove you from my email list. Again, my apologies for the email. If I could ever be helpful in the future, please let me know. And that's it. And you have to realize this because you don't actually know everyone in your database. It's like having an intimate house party and inviting strangers. Since you don't know everyone in your database, are there people in the world that just want to argue with people and be combative? Exactly. So when this happens, don't be surprised. Just move on. Who else has a question? Drop it in the chat. Arthur, what do you mean by to likely to sell in distant markets?
So I have a pretty big database from my past career, and I've got people who are, 60 miles away, 100 miles away, 2,000 miles away that are coming up as likely to sells. And, the question is certainly we don't want to say, hey, you came up, AI found you, and you might be selling. But it also is an issue because maybe I haven't stayed in touch with them. So it's not like I can say I'm driving down the street and I thought about you and, how are you doing? I just didn't know, most of the likely to sell tends to be the scripts that we have tend to be pretty local and maybe people that you sold to or helped buy recently. And I think a lot of these people that I know, I work very, very closely with them, but haven't talked to them for a while. And reaching out reconnecting is not a big deal, but doing it in the right way is.
Let me, I'll actually read an email to you that we had given people today. I was at my financial planner reviewing my portfolio and the total overall equity I have in it, which made me really think about this article that I wanted to share with you about how much money homeowners have gained in equity over the last year. My realization was there might be a lot of people just as interested in their home equity analysis in their financial portfolio. So if you or anyone would be interested in equity analysis of their home, simply let me know. If not, I hope you're doing well. No need to respond. Have a great day.
Love it. How do I where is that?
Here. It's in our
Thank
course.
you.
I'm going to put it in the.
That's super, Chirag. Thank you very much.
So I know a lot of you are waiting for the marketplace to open. This is a course we're doing now. We had the first session today. This is really what it is. It's the blueprint. So if any of you are interested, you can still obviously join and sign up. Does not qualify technically in the marketplace. It isn't open yet, but this is an idea of what type of stuff is in there. So I put the email in the chat, just copy, paste it, and send it out to somebody, right? There's an article in there and you could Google homeowners gain $6 trillion and you could find a variety of articles in there about it. It's a really fascinating thing. And I would use, Arthur, that same concept. You can come up with this in any different way and change that story around about equity, how people are moving. I don't remember if it was Coconut Grove or what was the other market right next to there for my Miami people, Coral Gables. One of those neighborhoods between 20 and 21, the median home price went from $780 to $1.8 million. Do you think there's something interesting that someone's selling their home for that's getting $1 million extra that they never anticipated? Imagine living in a $700,000 home and you could sell it the next day and walk away with $1 million in cash. That is an exciting opportunity. So if you're not going after those likely to sells that convert at 10% and you spend money on Zillow or you're just afraid of what people are going to say, you need to have the right strategy and email and understand how to do this. But this is a challenge in coaching, right? So do you guys, some of you I shared and a lot of you guys said yes. So I've taken a lot of time to really think through what the challenge is on coaching. And I wanted to answer a couple more questions and take a few minutes. A lot of you were excited about the program we shared. And again, we do not have a program yet for you to buy for this, but I wanted to share with you what it was like. And I obviously want to hear what you have to say. The marketplace is where you can spend your 10 by 10 money. Right, Deborah put the blueprint course in there if anybody's interested. After a listing presentation, the seller says they'll make a decision in 2 days, then sends an email with questions I addressed after the meeting. In fact, she took copious notes. What should I say in the email, or should I email a reply? The client's in their 80s and is talking with family members who refuse to come to a listing presentation. Okay, so this is a really good question. Number one, if she's 80 years old, you better send her a handwritten note and make sure the handwritten note includes things that you heard. I would say, dear Mrs. Seller, thank you for taking the time to meet with me. In listening to you, I knew that blank, blank, blank was important to you, and you've done blank, blank, blank over the home. And, regardless of what happens, I just want to tell you that I'm thankful for the opportunity, and I look forward to being able to help you get to the next chapter of your life. Doesn't that make you seem like a class act? Right? And now for the siblings that aren't there, you want to be able to provide a written marketing plan and a written communication plan, which no one else has. Remember, perceive value, actualize value, create clarity for other people. Because if not, lack of clarity creates confusion, which goes to certainty. They can't tell the difference between everybody. Right? So does anyone interested in what I believe is the future of coaching? I've kind of distilled down what was broken, right? And everyone, we've actually called everybody, and a lot of people have asked us what's next. So this is kind of where I feel this is, and tell me if this is an accurate representation of your business. Give me 1 second. This is your life in real estate. You have to do social media. You have to do sales. You have to do branding. What happens if I want to start and grow a team? I need to work on my mindset, lead generation. But now I hired an admin. What do I do there? How do I build my business? But if I'm running a team, I need executive leadership skills. But wait, I have to hire agents and staff members, and I have to build culture. But then I need technology training. There's new technology that came out. What do I say there? There are all these different situations which relate to sales, like commission cutting, buyers that want deals, cutting commission. Hit yes if this sounds like your life in real estate. You know, when Robert started Compass, he realized one really important thing. For you to run your business, you had to log into, I think he said like 15 different places, right? And when you came to Compass, besides the culture and everything else we love here, there's really one central operating system, which is a Compass platform, which took all of these different things and essentially put them into one place, which made your life simple. You know, when you think of coaching, this could be 10, 12 different programs, which is what makes it a fragmented experience. And when you come to Compass and you're focused on one operating system, everything should run on that operating system. Wouldn't that make your life easier? Now, if it's fragmented, you could go to a company that doesn't know your company culture tools. And it could be like working on an Android one day and iOS another day, Microsoft another day, and whatever other operating systems there are. And in looking at your business and thinking about how this was for all of you, I realized just as when you came here at Compass, how this was fragmented, I realized that coaching is just as fragmented too. Because the reality is you get into these programs and they might address one thing or a few things. But the last time I checked, your business changes throughout the year. So if you're in a 3 or 4 month program and the program is on lead generation and now you have all these clients and you just hired an admin, you need to train your admin, what do? You have to wait for the program's over and you have to go somewhere else. And now you're kind of sitting here trying to figure out how all of these things connect together. Does this make sense to all of you? So we took that and we're going to turn it into this. You know, as I shared with you, we've been here for 4 years. We exclusively only coach people here. So the entire operating system of every fundamental thing we do is Compass. That's why you like it. That's what your feedback said. That's why Robert works with us. That's why I had the privilege of helping Robert create his action plan. We know the company, the cultures, the tools. But like I said, the other challenge is when you want to grow a team, do social media, do sales, branding, admin training, right? What about digital marketing? What happens if I want to build my personal brand? What happens if I want to build my team brand? What happens in the middle of the year? Now I have 5 people on my team and I need executive leadership skills to coach somebody. How do you navigate that? And, you know, in spending over 10,000 hours with people just here and being privileged to work with some of the top agents in the country, this is what I figured out. All of this needs to live in one place, in one program, with one central operating system. One brain needs to help create all of this. Now, I can't teach all of this, nor am I an expert in all of this. So the way that we figured this out is look at this like going to a university, right? We're going to call this the Chirag Shah playbook. It is essentially a playbook on all these different things. And it's broken down into simple things. It's like when you go to look at a course, you look at the course, you figure out if you want to take the course, and you see what all the classes are. All of these paths are curated learning, right? So even if you're working on team building and now you hire an admin, guess what? There are all these admin classes that there are recordings of, there's pre-made materials, and there are recorded sessions that you can go to, and then live sessions you can go to. This program was created to address all of the needs of your business at any time. And you don't have to go through all of it at once. So our team will be working on, technology training, leadership training, how to start a small team, admin training. And we've brought in, I have a lot of good partners and relationships in the industry. We have brought in people to these programs that you're very hard to find in an intimate setting, where they're going to teach 6 monthly sessions on high level topics. And I'll give you a couple, like for personal branding, we have a gentleman, Brian Mazza, that we partnered with. Brian just launched a 3-year deal with Maserati. He has 340,000 people on his Instagram profile, and his brand deals with Saks, Vital Proteins, and a variety of other clothing and brands. And he'll tell you how to authentically build your brand to you. Kelly White is the executive recruiter for T360, which is the company that literally writes the trends report. She's the top executive recruiter for real estate talent in the country. She's going to spend 6 sessions with you. So there's a variety of experts, and all of this stuff is in one place. So the goal was, how can we create one program that eliminated the need for 15 different programs? And then on top of that, while you're going through the program, we don't believe that you should necessarily need a coach for 6 months at a time like the industry has it. If you're in this program, you can buy coaching sessions with our other coaches like personal training. You might only need 4 sessions to work out a leadership issue you have, so you could buy 4 sessions with a leadership coach. You might want to spend 4 to 8 sessions on a CRM. You could buy them that way too. So as the year goes and your business changes, everything is in one place. Now, the things that we wanted to focus on in this program were community, collaboration, and growth. So the program is going to have an open enrollment, and it's only going to happen twice a year. So there'll be an enrollment period, and once you're in, the program's locked. There's no more people coming in and out. And when you're here, it's here for 6 months. And then we have agent-led accountability groups. We can break you up into role-playing groups. And then our job as a team is not only to make sure you learn the materials, that you have a platform to all the continuity, right? There's so many different agent-led possibilities, as well as ways for you to learn more than one thing. So you don't have to use everything. You don't have to use anything. You could come here for one specific thing. So this is what I believe the future of coaching is. We'll be launching it in our event in Boston. And, as I shared with you, I felt very close and built a bond with you over those 10 weeks. So you all literally, besides my team, are the first people to hear about it. And I just wanted to share that with you today. So a lot of you have emailed us like, what's the next? What's going in the marketplace? So the marketplace is where all the coaching is going to be put, where you can use your coaching dollars. It's not going to be like marketing dollars where you have to buy something and submit for reimbursement. You can go directly in there to our program, buy the program, Compass pays this directly, you get access to the program, and that's it. So this is what we believe our future is. And this is what I believe the future of coaching should be for an agent. It should not be your job to go to 15 different places, just like before when you came here at Compass. That's what you like about Compass. You've all told me this for the last 4 years, right? You go to Agent Home and everything is there. So we want to give you a similar playbook where all of the things that you love about Compass are there. And here's some of the additional add-ons that we have. Any tool that is ever going to be made at Compass, hit yes if you like the way that I talk about technology and I make it simple. I hope all of you, right? That's the goal. Anytime there's a new tool that comes out, I'm going to make my own version of the training and we're going to add it into the playbook. Again, there's no cost. Once a month, we're going to send a survey out to you and we're going to say, hey, what are the situations you're dealing with in the field? And based on that, we'll take 3 to 5 of them every month and record videos and give you the scripts Was it helpful today how we went through that whole objection handling? So we realized in the course of the year that the market could change. So when you're locked into these programs and everything's changing, if you work at Compass, number one, when a new tool comes out, you need new training, right? If you want to go Compass Academy and Core, they'll give you the 0 to 1. We're the 1 to 100. We're a direct extension. So we will provide all that information to everyone on an ongoing basis. We also know the market changes, right? We've heard from a lot of clients that commission cutting is a big thing and we need to wrap our heads around it. Great. That means as a coach and someone responsible, if you guys are part of our community, once a month we'll provide you with new videos, but it's all based on your feedback. And being able to be at one place with one group of agents and having one solid focus of growing together allows us to do so much more together. So this, in essence, is going to be our big program. It'll be a 6-month program, 1 month open enrollment, right? From May, you'll hear about it at our event on May 2nd. And then on June 5th, it's finished. It's locked. You can't get in. Good luck. We'll see you in January if you want to come back. That's as simple as this will be for everybody. Will the section have a session on pitching Compass? Absolutely. One of the benefits of this program is every other program that we have that we've ever recorded will be in here for free. So all of our stuff will be in here. Our event is on May 3rd. Sorry, Deborah. See, I'm getting corrected too. So when you think about this program, it is the most value we can give anyone because it has all of our stuff in it. You know, we believe that coaching should be at a price that everyone could do it, and good information is meant to be shared. And as you can see from the onboarding to the platform, to the way that we put our recordings on, the way that we put the scripts, it really matters to us that you actually use this stuff. I tell people all the time, if you're going to spend money and don't use this stuff, you're not going to show up to the training, keep your money and go somewhere else. You're better off donating it to a non-for-profit foundation that someone could really use it. Don't spend money with us if you're not going to use it, if you're not going to show up. Please don't. You know, I don't find that a good business model, and we want people that want to learn, connect, and grow with others. And when you put people together like that, something special is created. So that really in a nutshell was what's coming next. Deborah will drop a form into this if you're interested in it. I'd be very open to doing a webinar with all of you that I can pull back the curtain and let you all be the first people to see it. And for all of us that go through this and sign up for this outside of, you know, when this is all done, I'll find something special that I'd like to do for all of you that do. So Deborah, drop the form in. And again, we don't have anything now that you could buy or anything, but everyone keeps asking, what do we do next? What do we do next? What do we do next? If you choose to continue with us, that's what I suggest you do. That is the best value. And if you got $10,000, this won't even use all the money. You will still have money left. So that's kind of what I got for you today, right? Now, in terms of what should you do with the materials you have here? Number one, get focused on what you need to learn, right? What are you looking to master in the next 30 days? I would go in there and I would download that one session. I would download all the materials and I would put a time block in my calendar for 15 to 20 minutes a day. And I would just focus on that one thing. If you need to practice your commission cutting objection, I would find 5 different role play partners and I'd practice it for 15, 20 minutes every day, 5 days a week. If you need to do likely to sell and you want to learn prospecting and all of those other things, find a prospecting partner or join our blueprint program. But remember, there's always an option that you can do on your own. And then when you want to go through the next place and have it structured, we would like you to think of us in that place. But you have all this information now. Use it. You committed to doing this, so make sure it works. Yes. So this new program that I'm talking about will be in the marketplace. And you can use the money for that. Absolutely. I don't know about you guys, but guys, gals, people, I am very excited to build this thing that's never been built before. Every time I do an accountability with Robert, I like dream a little bigger, right? Robert said in a conversation I had with him, the best entrepreneurs are delusionally optimistic. I said, well, wow, man. I said, I got big dreams. I said, you know, then I'm your guy, right? We have our company headquarters being built in Westport, Connecticut. So we'll have a place this fall and winter where people can actually come in and spend time with us. And you'll find out all this information as we have it to release. Can you send an email on the marketplace as well? Compass will be sending more emails out about the marketplace. Elkin's in our GCI Excel. Elkin, this is the new GCI Accelerator program. See, I have people in my group coaching program now that have never even heard about this. So I was serious when I said that you were the first people to hear about this. Susie, this is probably new to you, so don't leak it to everybody else. You can if you want, but it's just something different. And I've been sharing with you guys that I've been working on something that's going to be a lot more value. Because look, everyone's needs are different. The idea of making one program for everyone is very challenging. Because no matter where your business goes throughout the year, something is going to shift. And we want to make sure that people that choose to do this have a structured path to do that. Because the cost of waiting, the cost of changing, the cost of doing things the same is very expensive. And beyond it financially being expensive, it's very stressful. It is mentally draining dealing with some of these people. There are people out there that just want to be combative. And if someone recently has said to you, you can't find me a home, like you create inventory. You can't get this price for my home, like you choose what people pay for homes. It is amazing what people can think. And everything you want in your life is one or two choices away. You wake up tomorrow, you make a couple different choices, you start having momentum. Once you have momentum, find other people, places, and things that'll multiply your efforts. Do this for 30, 60, 90 days. Magic will happen. Truly. Does anyone have any other questions here?
I just put one in.
You want to ask it since you're unmuted? Oh, what is the best hotel?
Yeah, hi, I'm coming from Whidbey Island in Washington State for the May 3rd event. Do you have any recommendations for hotel?
I would stay at the Marriott Copley because that's where the hotel is. But in full disclosure, like in looking at other hotels in the area, it is a little more expensive, right? So that's in downtown Back Bay. So there's a handful of hotels in walking distance from there or a short Uber ride. Oh, someone's saying there's a room block. See, it shows what I know. So if you're wondering what she's referring to, Robert had put a post on Workplace about this. So we've actively started promoting it. We have a live event May 3rd and 4th in Boston. We would love it if you'd like to come. I would love to meet as many of you in person as possible. You know, it's kind of crazy to think over the last 2 years, most of our relationships have been built on a Zoom screen. Last September, in the middle of the Delta variant, we did a 500-person event in Brooklyn, which was just incredible just to see people. No masks, all smiles. No one got COVID or anything, and everyone just got to connect and the relationships that were formed. That's where the whole learn, collaborate, grow came from. So if you're interested in going, let us know. And I see a handful of people have signed up already, and we'll send a follow-up email with this information as well. And look, I wanted to take the time again just to thank all of you. There is no virtual available, and on the 4th, it's throughout the day. There's different, all different networking events. One of the things that I want to just say to everyone as we leave today, some of you would see you later, I believe, and some of you might be goodbye temporarily because I hope our relationship all continues. But look, you invested so much in yourself to do this, and you all should be incredibly proud of the time you put into this, the efforts you put into this. Every single time and every single moment you log in to do something, you should be proud of yourself because you're the people that want to go out and make the world better for everybody else. That's what you're really doing, right? How do I provide better service? How do I connect with my clients better? An objection is really a question. How do I answer their questions so they feel good about what they're doing? Those are special people in the world. And if you look at what's going on, the world needs more people like you. More people that are committed to selfless acts and growth. And on the same token, I want to make sure that we all prioritize ourselves every day. Life is a precious thing that's given to us in a 24-hour increment, ideally per day. Make your choices wisely. Spend time with the people that you love and realize that your cell phone can turn off for the 2 to 3 hours a day from when you get home till, if you have a family or young kids, like the time just goes by so fast. Make your choices wisely. And I'll share, many of you know Ben Moss, who's the director of sports entertainment. His wife was my mindfulness coach. And, she said a very powerful quote to me every week, and I'll leave you with this. She says, "Hey, Chirag, so for the past week, did you build a life of regret or did you build a life of fulfillment?" And I was like, oh, why? I was like, Jesus, that's heavy, right? And if you think about it, again, each week you have a choice. So choose a path of fulfillment in both your business and your life. And we are honored to help you keep the promises that you made to yourselves, because it's essentially what coaching is, right? You showed up here because you made a promise to yourself. And it's my job to help you keep those promises to yourself. So I say this with love in my heart. I love you all. And thank you so much for choosing to spend the last now 11 weeks with us. It's truly been special for me. It's truly transformational. And just seeing all of you for one more time this week, it's going to be a little lonely next week without the hundreds of you that show up here. So thank you all. And I look forward to meeting as many of you. I look forward to helping you in your journey. And if we could ever be helpful, please reach out and let us know. And thank you to my team, right? Without Deborah and Brooke, let me say this to you while they're here. I'm the luckiest person in the world. I just get to come up here and do this. Without them, Deborah and Brooke and Alexa, none of this is possible. None of it. So when people say we have a great program, I tell people you should thank them. You should not thank me. I have the easy job. They have the job of organizing it, making sure the recordings are done, making sure that your calendars are done, making sure everything is given to you in a time, right? So thank you all to my team for all the work that you put in, because I can't tell you how many hours they spent making sure that this was the best experience for you possible. They've tried to think of every detail, and I hope they've met you where you are. And I look forward to seeing everyone soon. Bye, everybody.
Thanks a lot.